Welcome to Reddit Blue Pill Red Pill, where we go over Reddit stories and predict the outcome of the stories. Please listen and play along by typing in your choices into the comments. There are 5 seconds to answer, or you can pause the video. Today we have a story about a wife that feels betrayed by her husband. Alright, let's get on to the story.
Context. My husband's childhood friend, CHF, is also someone I knew from high school. We were once friendly, but over the years, he's shown himself to be a bully, especially toward the women in our friend group. He hides behind jokes to make hurtful comments, like calling wives and girlfriends by their partner's ex's names, making jabs about infertility, and mocking them for where they are in the relationship. Example, yet to be married. He's done this to me twice.
The OP's husband is friends with a man who seems to make mean-spirited jokes, especially at the expense of females. Jokes can be very subjective. One person's joke is another person's insult. So just because the OP thinks the CHF's jokes are mean-spirited doesn't mean it's true. And since she feels slighted by his jokes, she may be hyper-vigilant to especially notice the jokes he makes towards other females. What do you think? If you think the OP has given enough proof to label the CHF as a bully, then type Q1 red in the comments. If you don't think there's enough proof to label the CHF as a bully, type Q1 blue.
The first time was on Christmas Eve, when he repeatedly called me by my husband's ex's name, even after being corrected. The second time, after being called out by my husband and others, he showed up at another gathering. Instead of apologizing, he hugged my husband and then again called me by the ex's name right to my face. After that, my husband cut contact with him. We haven't seen or spoken to him in months.
Now we see more direct proof of the so-called bullying. These jokes are definitely in poor taste. But the thing that gets to me the most is that the CHF was asked beforehand not to make such jokes, and he couldn't control himself and kept going. The OP's husband had seen enough and cut the CHF out of their lives for months now. But perhaps cutting from your life someone you've known for years may be too harsh. Maybe just a few weeks of radio silence could have been all that was necessary to change the CHF's behavior. What do you think? Do you think cutting the CHF completely was the right call? If so, type Q2 red in the comments. If you think that was too harsh a punishment, type Q2 blue.
Now, CHF's father recently passed away. My husband told me he feels strongly about attending the wake to pay respects to the family, including CHF's mother and CHF himself. I've told him how uncomfortable this makes me. I'm hurt. I know our mutual friends will use this as a chance to mend the friendship, and it feels like my pain is being sidelined. This to me feels like a betrayal. That CHF's feelings and family take precedence over mine. It's shaken me. I feel unsafe in my marriage and in our social circle.
CHF's father unfortunately passed away, and OP's husband wants to pay respects to the family at the funeral. However, the OP is still feeling very hurt by CHF and feels that her husband is siding with him over her. She maybe feels that if CHF was so heartless to make such nasty comments to her and others, why should anyone extend any grace to him now? But her husband doesn't see it that way. He is mainly attending to show respects to the rest of the family, since it seems he was also close to all of them as well. If they have known CHF since high school, then they must have also known the family and parents. How many times have you gone to other friends' houses and been attended to by their family and parents? It is only natural to also have affection towards the family of your friend, assuming they treat you right. Do you side with the OP and feel her husband should not attend to show his solidarity to her, then type Q3 red in the comments. If you side with her husband and feel attending the funeral is the right thing to do for a family that you have been close to for years, then type Q3 blue.
My husband insists that this is about honoring the deceased and that it's separate from the issues between me and CHF. He says it's about his values and doing what's right. But I can't help feeling devastated. Am I being extreme for saying this has made me question our marriage? Am I the a-hole for being so upset and throwing a fit?
The OP is clearly hurting and is even questioning her marriage. Her husband says he is showing respect not just to CHF, but mainly his family. But the OP is still taking it very personally. She feels that showing respects to CHF and his family over this matter is unfair to her when CHF showed no respect to her with his mean-spirited jokes. But to actually question your marriage over this? What do you think? If you feel the OP is justified in her feelings of hurt over her husband going to the funeral, type Q4 red in the comments. If you feel the OP is taking things too far, type Q4 blue. Now we will hear some additional details after the OP has read the comments from her original post.
Edit, leaving the post up, but I've come to accept that I'm the a-hole in this situation. I'm genuinely thankful to those who responded and helped frame the context in a way that gave me clarity. I've received the insight I needed, and I kindly ask that further comments refrain from piling on.
We will review some of these comments later, but it seems the consensus was that the OP was the a-hole in this situation. It also seems the consensus was resounding enough that the OP has had enough and doesn't want further piling on. But do you agree with the commenters? Was the OP the a-hole in this situation? It was CHF who ruined the friendship, and they had already decided to cut CHF from their lives, and in doing so, they would most likely have not had any interaction with CHF's family either, by extension. So why does a funeral now change all of that? If they agree the OP was the a-hole, then type Q5 red in the comments. If you think the OP was justified in feeling betrayed by her husband, type Q5 blue.
Edit 2. Clarity from my husband's relationship with the father, if it matters. No friendship or interaction between the two of them. My husband has positive interactions with the wife, the mother of CHF. Edit 3. He ended up staying on a few hours and there was a reconciliation involved. My takeaway too is that there is expectation that all of us will be back to normal. To quote a few things, does the punishment fit the crime in connection with my stance towards CHF? What happens next time when there's a get-together with my friends? I can't go? The friend apparently apologized to him and asked to extend an apology to me. Anyway, this whole thing just left me feeling confused now.
It seems that this event has awoken CHF and he's trying to make amends to everyone he had wronged, including the OP. Perhaps seeing all the friends that had abandoned him these last few months again made him realize that petty jokes wasn't worth the history he had with them, and I'm glad CHF is trying to make things right. But this has left the OP even more confused. It seems that even though she realized that she was the a-hole for fighting with her husband over him attending the funeral, she was also secretly hoping against having CHF rejoin the friend group. OP thought she had washed her hands of CHF, but the funeral is allowing CHF the opportunity to redeem himself. And if CHF rejoins, what will the OP do? Even if he sincerely apologizes to her and never makes those jokes again, do you feel the OP has the heart to forgive him? Or does she have complete hatred for CHF that nothing can cure, and his reintegration into the friend group will make her feel betrayed again? What do you think? If you think the OP hates CHF too much to forgive him and will be resentful he'll be allowed to rejoin the friend group, type Q6 red in the comments. If you believe the OP has it within herself to forgive and allow CHF a chance to make things right, type Q6 blue. Now let's listen to a few of those comments.
Your pain is being sidelined? Ma'am, someone your husband has known his entire life died. Perhaps his pain should be the one taking precedence this time. You're the a-hole. It's not about you.
You're the a-hole. This is freaking ridiculous. Grow up. You are unsafe because your husband is going to the funeral of a man he has known his whole life, despite his relationship status with his friend, just because said friend is going to be there and, checks notes, he rudely called you by your husband X name to annoy you? Oh no, this really is a reason to feel unsafe. You are making a thunderstorm in a glass of water. Get yourself together and act like a big girl. It feels disrespectful with people who really went through bullying, you trying to pass as a shaken victim of a guy whose only crime was being rude to you twice. Your husband is shaken by the death of someone who he grew up close with. He is 100% allowed to want to go to the funeral. Stop making it about you.
Her being so incredibly over-the-top dramatic about this really makes me wonder how bad the behavior of the friend was. Some people always make mountains out of molehills.
My significant other's friends and family accidentally called me the ex's names repeatedly for about a year after we met. I personally found it hilarious and just reminded them I'm the upgrade, not the test version. That said, OP seems to recognize her inappropriate reaction, so maybe she'll learn from this experience.
Unsafe? You can't be serious. Time to grow up, main character. Weaponized therapy speak is so obnoxious.
The way my eyes rolled when I read that. Like, please get over yourself. A man who your husband knew most of his life died, and she now feels unsafe. For fuck's sake!
You're the a-hole. Sorry. He's not going to party with his mates, he's going to attend a funeral.
Sorry, OP, but you're the a-hole. I think it's unfair to be upset with him for attending. Clearly, he has shown support for you by cutting contact, and the relationship with this person's family can be much different than the relationship with the childhood friend. It's a big deal to say you feel unsafe in a marriage, and I wonder what is making you feel unsafe. Instead of prohibiting him from going, I'd recommend compromising and asking that he makes it very clear to CHF that he is coming to pay respects to the family, not reconnect.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching all the way to the end and participating. Please consider liking and subscribing to watch future videos. Goodbye.